You're now listening to the smoothest podcast in the world, Cognac Small Talk, hosted by the connoisseur smooth, Anthony J.R.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I am Anthony J.R. Welcome to Cognac Small Talk. It's a podcast series on how I personally feel we should be moving as creatives and business entrepreneurs. I've been gone for a while. I can elaborate a little bit later on, but I'm in New York. It's a great time. It's a great experience. But starting off this new rebranded podcast, I'm here with my guy, Mike Nasty. He's a DJ.
Man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man.
We're
in Brooklyn. Of course, I gotta have some Cabassier Cognac just to start. You know something?
Sure.
Sure. So, just now that since I'm pouring some cognac, when can you remember, or do you remember the first time you actually had a glass of cognac? Can you tell me about that experience, man?
I want to say it had to be like my junior year of college. I think I started out on beer, and then we were on like Burnett's vodka, which is like terrible. I don't remember what it was, but I want to say about my junior year, everybody was like, "Oh, we drinking brown. It's the popular thing to do." So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. It wasn't like on the rocks or anything.
Yeah.
Definitely put some hair on my chest.
Nice, man. But cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers.
We're in Brooklyn, man. This is a great time, man. Smooth. You like it?
It is smooth, man.
You like it?
Yeah.
Nice. So, to start off, man, the way that I met you, man, I met you in Atlanta, but I found out slowly after that you actually aren't from Atlanta. You're actually from Memphis.
Right.
But now you're actually in Brooklyn. So tell me about that transition, man. Like, what was it like starting off in Memphis and doing the DJing and everything, man?
Well, actually, my transition, I grew up in Memphis from birth until I was 18, but I actually went to college at the University of Tennessee, which is in Knoxville.
Okay.
So I went to college for 4.5 years, and that was like, I want to say Tennessee was like 3 hours from Atlanta. So it was like the next big city, so it wasn't far. It was probably an hour and a half from Chattanooga, so a lot of people were graduating, getting jobs, going to Atlanta. So I was DJing for like 5 years at that point, maybe, and I just knew I didn't want to stay in Tennessee and DJ. Like, I kind of hit my ceiling. Like, I was pretty popular in Tennessee, to be honest. I was a top DJ in my school, and we just do like big homecoming parties, man. Like, me and my business partner, bro, we just started branding ourselves. Like, I was doing mixtapes. I would use mixtapes to promote the parties. So we would have like a tweet to download link, and my homie would build a website. And we would come up with a party concept like campus takeover or something like that. So we would promote that, bro. And I would put out these mixtapes, and my mixtapes were getting downloaded like throughout the state. So from like back home in Memphis to Nashville, to Chattanooga, to Johnson City, everywhere in between, like everybody was bumping my mixtapes. So these mixtapes would get the hype of the party buzzing on like Twitter and everything. So we would flood Twitter. This is back when you would go to Twitter jail if you was I remember that was an era in Twitter, man. Yeah, man. Twitter, even before Twitter was just really popular like that, we were doing like printing the handbill flyers, glossy flyers. We were selling wristbands, so we would get these rubber wristbands to promote the parties, bro. Man, we really went through the mud with that stuff, man. That's why I feel like it's a little easier for me to like promote parties now. It's like with social media.
It's like you've been doing it. It's like you've already been doing it.
I want to say Instagram may have been created like my junior year of college, maybe in a sophomore or something like that. So it's like these younger DJs, they don't really know what it's like to really get out in the streets and have a promotion team and doing all this, and me doing that at a young age, man. It's just like it was a goal.
So what would you say that made you make that transition from Atlanta to now New York? You know, everybody that, especially being in Seattle, like people in Seattle look at Atlanta like that's a gold mine, as well as like, the LAs and New Yorks, Miami, Chicago, that's a gold mine. But hearing a lot of creatives that want to leave Atlanta to go to New York and stuff like that. It's kind of like some people will kind of look at you kind of crazy, especially like in music, man. So what would you say was that big transition of why you actually left Atlanta?
Well, I did 3 years in Atlanta. I would say I kind of hit my ceiling. I feel like I couldn't progress any further than what I was doing. Not saying that I couldn't, but that's just how I felt at the time. Me being young, early 20s. But I would say I was like around tour DJing. Like I did like Quentin Miller's first tour. I toured DJ for Travis Porter and stuff down there. So like they're kind of like Atlanta legends in their own right. They went platinum with a couple of records. So that was cool experiencing that. But I just wanted more, bro. I didn't want to just DJ for an artist. And it's like not that the artist owns you, but like that's a big source of your income. You're like on the road doing that. Man. So got a little taste of that. I was throwing a little parties down there, but the support didn't really feel genuine to me, man.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Atlanta's like a big high school. They promote and overly support people they went to school with and grew up with or went to college with. Yeah. I came after I graduated from college. It was like, all right, who's this guy? He's from Memphis.
So what? Is that kind of how it was?
Yeah, it was just like, all right, all right, you're talented, all right, but you didn't grow up with us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I feel
you didn't share blood with us. Yeah, like, which is respectable and I respect it, but that's not how New York is. Yeah, you know, New York is one big melting pot of culture. And when I came here, I came for a business trip, bro. Somebody convinced me to come for a month, bro. And the third week I was here, I was like, I'm moving. It was amazing. It was amazing, bro. Because I didn't have to deal with the politics. Like Atlanta was very political for me. Like just people just shutting me out for no reason, bro. And I'm a nice, genuine person. Atlanta, as you know, it's a lot of finesse. You know, you know how it is. It's a lot of finesse, and I feel like for a lot of people, me not being on that negative wave or being heavy in the drug culture, me just being a clean cut person, it was just kind of just nothing they would see on the normal, bro. Yeah. And I just moved with like a certain grace about me, bro. It's no fugaziness to me. So, you know, people just, I don't know, they just, it didn't click like I thought it would.
But would you say that that's kind of like the same as, because I could hear the same about New York being that way. You know, people are, you have Atlanta as like that Southern hospitality, you know, so you have a lot of people that are really genuine, and then of course you have people that aren't as genuine, and you know, the same as in New York, not that it has the Southern hospitality, but a lot of people say that it's kind of grimy here, or people are kind of really rude, or kind of like always like that. So
I'll put it like my father always used to tell me. My dad's from Chicago, so he will always tell me that people in the South, they will not like you, but they'll still be friendly, and you'll never know it, and they'll be around you and be fake. So people up north, they don't fake it. You'll know if somebody doesn't like you. They just blatantly won't rock with you. So that's what I noticed from my transition to Atlanta to New York. Like Atlanta was a lot of politics. People kind of doing the fake. They kind of rock with me, but they would never give you opportunity. Yeah. And I'm working my butt off. Yeah. But when I got here, it was just people just being like, it's cutthroat here, but if you're the real deal, people are going to embrace you and support your talent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a melting pot of creatives. Like, there's millions of people that live here. So it's so many different scenes. And it's like with Atlanta having one, maybe 2 or 3 scenes, it's like people trying to hold that scene hostage versus letting people into it. Because if they feel like it's taken away, like you're taking away from something from them by them letting you in. Yeah. But it's really not. We all can build something bigger than that. That's why the DJ scene in Atlanta is nothing, really. If you want to keep it real, it's nothing. Yeah. In comparison to New York, it's not.
And that's something that I actually appreciate with you and shout out to my homegirl Connie, DJ, you know who, like she recently moved out here. But just a lot of DJs that are based here now. You guys are really like a family in a sense, like in a way where it's like you guys are kind of like still supportive of one another. Yes, you guys can have residencies in different spaces, but still show up before you guys have a set.
It's a sense of camaraderie, bro. Yeah, it's all about camaraderie is so healthy for the culture, bro.
Yeah.
And just being competitive and knowing and appreciating friendly competition. Bro.
Yeah.
Competition makes people work harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you had nobody to compete with, you're just gonna sit there and just hit these little small benchmarks and just be comfortable and that's it, bro. It's like me seeing somebody else achieve something or seeing a DJ get on a TV show or a producer getting a big placement with X, Y, and Z artists. Like, that motivates me. Like, I can't hate on them and be mad at them because it's about timing. Yeah. And if you put in your 10,000 hours and know your talent level and can benchmark your talent level each year that you grow, you're gonna be that next big person. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like that. Like, my time's coming. I've already achieved great things, but like me stopping to hate on the next man or stopping them from getting into a scene, that just takes away from me putting the energy into that takes away from my own hustle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was the problem in Atlanta. You know, like I can't name an Atlanta DJ that's just like that's from Atlanta. That's just like big or just world renowned or something. You know, like of course you got your big DJs like DJ Drama and Cannon, but they're not even from Atlanta, bro. They're from Philly. So, you know,
that's crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
you
it's
know,
like.
And I kind of like I can agree with that, man, because I felt like, you know, they have this saying of like, you know, when you're in Atlanta, people don't support until after you leave.
Exactly, bro.
You know?
That's literally within months of me being in New York.
Yeah,
people that would never book me for gigs or even try to work with me or want to do a record with me or something. Everybody's reaching out.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that got out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you did it successfully. Yeah. And everybody wants to work. And it's like, that's a big problem with black people, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cultural thing, bro. Like, and I hate we have to treat one another like that, but we gotta do better, man.
See, and I think like, you know, like, and to piggyback on that, man, like, I know for a fact for me, like when I moved over to Seattle, man, it was crazy because, like, you know, I was doing radio over in Atlanta, and I was kind of like, you know, I would kind of have artists come on and kind of interview them and stuff like that. Play, you know, under the ropes. I'd play some of their records when I'm not supposed to. Shout out to them. But I was just trying to do it just to have that leverage of like, yo, I support you. Like, show me the same love. You know, sometimes I didn't get that love, but I would kind of like, I guess I would kind of be upset about it just because I'm like, man, like, Atlanta is like where everybody wants to be at, but it's like within the creative scene, man.
Outside looking in, bro. But like once you're in it, you're like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, man.
My friends call me all the time, like, bro, I gotta get out of here. Because I watch and see people in the same positions for years, and like New York, it don't really, bro. I've been here a year and a half. It's crazy. It's one of the dopest DJs here. You know what I'm saying?
Talk that talk, bro. Like, talk that talk, man.
It's proof in the pudding, bro. The resume is like extensive. Like I've been spending 10 years, bro, in 3 different states. It's like, it took me that long to get to this point, but a year and a half in New York, I accomplished way more than I accomplished in the years of me being in Tennessee, in Atlanta. But I do appreciate those years and the politics and the hardships I had to go through, because it just made my story that much more bittersweet. I really worked on my craft even more. The time and effort I had to put into building it, and I learned how to be a dope producer in Atlanta, bro. Like I was working under and collabing with a lot of dope like producers, like guys like DJ Brown, just like willing to like want to work with me, man.
That's dope,
so it's just learning from him, and my evolution from then to now is crazy, bro. Sonically, like
I already know, man. And the thing about it, like I wanna you remind me of two things actually, man. So one thing is that you mentioned producing and stuff like that. We were talking earlier before we actually started recording. How was that whole interaction with like DJing alongside Chad Hugo, man? You know, he's one of the iconic one half of the Neptunes, man. You guys, everybody knows that. I love Pharrell, that's like my guy for sure. But how was that experience, especially you getting into producing and him also being able to DJ, and he's a producer as well? Like, how was that vibe like, man?
It was bittersweet, man. Like, just seeing,
because he's a legend,
people
man.
You look up to. And even to like Pharrell and Timbaland are my two favorite producers. So even to have that association and be that close to it is like, it's amazing to me, man.
How did it happen? Like and where did it happen again?
It was at Lot 45 Bushwick.
Okay.
It's a spot in Brooklyn. I have my residency.
Yeah.
So the programmer believed in me, and he allowed me to be on the bill. He felt like I would execute, and I did exactly that, man. So
did he just happen to just be in Brooklyn, or like what exactly was like?
It was actually planned out in the book, man. Like,
wow.
Yeah, like we want change, we could have come. So yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
So just look at the comparison of the events that a promoter, a programmer in New York would want to put together in comparison to something in Atlanta where you got your hookahs, your section, your bottles, and nobody's dancing. You're paying some Instagram model X, Y, Z amount of dollars to do nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that speaks volumes of how I move, bro. Come on,
man. You know, and the thing about it was like, you know, I saw a tweet. Before, and it was talking about how in clubs now they've started to, and back in Atlanta, they started to remove make the dance floors a little bit smaller because they're buying the clubs are getting more. Yeah, they're solidifying on sections now, on bottle service. On cover to get in, but they're shrinking the dance floor because now, you know, in Atlanta for the longest, people don't dance. That's why it's like crazy. Like when I went to Seattle, people dance. There's a big dance community. Shout out to the twins, Terrence and Tanoa, huge dancers. But when I moved over here, I wasn't accustomed to going to the club and seeing people like dance like that. Just because I was always in Atlanta, you go into the club, you see a couple of chicks twerking here and there. Cool. You know, but everybody want to be cool, be on their cell phones, they smoking a blunt over to the side or something, or everybody's trying to pile in into one section. I was just like, yo, this is crazy being in Seattle, seeing that. But that tweet made me just realize, like, damn, like that's really not a thing in Atlanta, man. But like in New York, it's prominent. Like you can still see like a lot of people dancing. Get busy.
We have break dances at our parties, bro. Like faithfully every week, man. Shout out JP and the crew, man. Yeah, they're always getting it in, bro. Yeah, like, you know. And I just never saw that in Atlanta, man. You know, and no knock to Atlanta. Atlanta has great, extremely great culture, bro. Like. The food is amazing. The history of music, even to music now, is amazing, bro. But the party, the nightlife scene has to change. You know, like the strip club scene is cool. You know, I tell people here, I'm like, yo, Atlanta strip clubs are the best in the world. Like, period. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
That's a fact.
I love the strip clubs. Like Follies is my favorite strip club. But like, that's not. I feel like they bring the way of they party in strip clubs, you know, the lounging, chilling. Yeah, I think they brought that culture into regular nightlife in Atlanta. There should definitely be a separation. I should be able to go into a party and like see people dancing and want to dance. But
it's not like that.
I feel like it's about being best dressed and stun on the next person. But
your fits off.
But Atlanta, the cost of living is so low that it's like it creates like a fake it till you make it mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like you can look like a superstar and make $50,000 a year.
You know, it's so crazy that you mentioned that because I remember when I used to work at in Lenox Mall, and our store was across from Louis Vuitton, and literally there would be people that would come to that because this area was kind of busy because you had the Starbucks in the middle and Louis Vuitton, and then you had J. Crew. So I would literally see people post up in front of Louis Vuitton taking photos. Just not even going inside the store. Can't even afford it. Just going, just posting up outside of it with a couple of other bags that they were probably shopping with or whatever, and taking photos, man. And I was like, yo, this is really the finesse. Like
you can't do that.
Fake it till you make it.
They won't even let you. You can't even stand outside of the Supreme store and take pictures the day of the drop, bro. You can't even be in front of the store, bro. Like, and that's Supreme.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, man.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
You can't fake it here, bro.
I got something that I wrote down, man. So I remember on Twitter, and we talked about this probably a couple weeks ago or so. So it said, you wrote people as an individual feel like your competition when you're on their level. They'll try to their best not to. Oh, I messed up that completely. People support others with more clout than them in order to use them as a stepping stone. If an individual feels that you're in competition while you're on their level, they'll try their best not to acknowledge you. Mm-hmm. How often does that happen to you in New York? I know that in Atlanta it may have happened just like how we were talking, but does that still happen in New York City now that you've become a prominent DJ in the city?
Definitely. It's all about leverage, bro. You know, the more leverage I got, the less I would see it, and the nicer people would try to be to me. Yeah. Even DJs outside of New York, because everybody wants to spin here. This is a top 3 nightlife city in the world. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, I've read articles, I've scaled it. I would say it's Berlin 1, London number 2, New York number 3. So everybody in the world that's a DJ wants to spin here. Yeah. So with me being a prominent DJ in Brooklyn and certain parts of Manhattan, etc., and even me I throw my own parties now. You know what I'm saying? So people see an opportunity for me to book them or to them to get on deals with me, and I get offers from people all the time like, yo, like let me spin with you. It's like, 1, you have to build personal relationships with people, and like 2, I haven't even seen you spin. I don't even know your talent level, so I want to book you here. You know what I'm saying? And then 3, I have my own homies that I haven't even got to spin with yet, or even spin with enough that I want to put on and help me build something with together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I see it a lot, man. It's dying down a lot. I would say the bigger I get with and the more accomplishments I obtain, like people try to be nicer, but you know.
Do you feel like it's a little fake though, because they feel like
for sure. I learned everything I need to know about the industry in Atlanta, and I applied it here. Yeah. Okay. Just the way people treated me, you know what I'm saying, down there, bro. Yeah. Right? And it's people that even in Atlanta that never booked me, that they're trying to reach out and work now. It's like, I'm at the point like, when you want to work with people, it's like, it's essentially a barter system. So it's like, what are you bringing to the table that can even want me to work with? You know, I'm a nice guy, bro. So like, I'm not against it, working with everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal essentially. But I'm so busy and I'm stretched so thin nowadays, and just me with trying to work on my own projects. And I'm trying to get into fashion. I'm working on album and all this stuff. Like, I don't even have time to curate things for other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just taking care of my bookings, because that's what keeps the roof over my head. So I don't even have time to be trying to book y'all. You know what I'm saying?
So now that you mentioned the fashion stuff, man, which kind of leads me to asking you, how did the whole Nego fried chicken, the KFC fried chicken thing, and Hypebeast, how did that come along, man? Because Nego is a fashion icon, man. So at least maybe, you know, getting some words of inspiration and stuff like that was probably very vital and life-changing, man. So how did that whole thing happen, man?
It was through Hypebeast, man. I've been scoring projects for them for it's been over a year now, I think. My homie Tyler, he works over there with them. He kind of plugged me into the situation.
Nice.
So I was already doing a lot of projects scoring for them, like behind the scenes. Like, my name would be in the credits and everything, man. So it was a nice source of income, bro. Like, me coming in and trying to, you know, build on my DJ gigs and everything. But I got hit up like months in advance, bro. Like, that project was in the works for like quite a while. So nice. I think I got hit up in like the summertime or in the summer maybe, and they were like, yo, we're working on this project with Nego. Like, we would love for you to like make these custom tracks for the project, you know? And we needed to be this vibe, you know what I'm saying? But we wanted to kind of be like a Asian hip hop and you know, all this. So like, I literally made those beats in like a day.
Did they give you a deadline, or when you needed to
yeah, kind of. But I'm always, with everything I work with, I'm always ahead of the time. Ahead of time on the deadline. You know what I'm saying? Just I DJ full time, so I'm busy, but I have certain like free time like to do things, you know. But literally the day they hit me up, asking for the stuff, I sent it back to them like the same day. And they were like, "Whoa, like this is lit." So then it's like a waiting process because they have to shoot, and then they went over to Asia and shot parts of it, and they shot parts of it here, and then I got like the call or something the week it was dropping, and they sent me the stuff, man. And it just worked out, man. Like over 1 million people saw that commercial. So it was cool.
That's
a great opportunity. Yeah. I didn't meet Nigo directly, but his team had to approve my music on their work. You know what I'm saying? It's a collaboration. So for them to hear my work is amazing. Man. It's a great resume builder, bro. It's something to marvel in the moment, but it always motivates me to do more. I always want to do more.
Yeah. So how did, and I didn't mention this before, man, but how did you start to kind of like know that like maybe working a 9 to 5 or anything wasn't the way to go for you, especially because now that you're using DJing as a way for you to make a steady income, and I think a lot of people are kind of like in that lane of which they would love to get out the office and stuff, but they want to find a way of making steady income to kind of like support themselves and their bills and all that. So kind of describe to me that transition, man, if you ever had to endure that type of stuff, man.
Bro, I decided that a long time ago, like before I even went to Atlanta. I was about to graduate from college and I was applying for jobs. I was doing interviews, bro. I majored in supply chain management. So like supply chain, it runs every corporation, every business. It's basically it's just the operations of the company, and you can do global supply chain. You could work in oil. Like we were having classes on moving oil and negotiations with that and stuff. So like it was intriguing at the time, but like my minor was in entrepreneurship. So like that's DJing. So I run my own business. So that was always a passion. So I was applying for jobs and doing interviews, and it just didn't feel right. But I knew I wanted to move to Atlanta. So I was like, whether I have a job or whether I'm going to DJ, I know I'm going to be in Atlanta. I just ended up, after I graduated, I stayed in Tennessee for 6 months. I stacked up my bread, and then I moved that summer. Summer 2014 to Atlanta, bro. And I just made it happen, bro. Nice. It was tough, it was hard, but I had to do it. Nice.
So what would you say that aside from supply chain management, man, if you weren't doing that, and of course like a DJ and producing, man, what do you think that you would actually be doing right now? Spending all your time getting income from that.
All my friends work in supply chain management. Like all my friends I went to school and stuff. So like I'll probably be doing that. I would probably be having fun. to keep it real with you. But, I've always been a well-rounded individual, so who knows? I probably would have went back to school and study something else. But I've always been involved in music. Like I grew up playing saxophone.
Wow, really? I played the trumpet.
Yeah, bro.
Oh!
I played saxophone for many years. I took guitar lessons. Had a drum set growing up. My dad still plays guitar, bass, and electric. So my dad used to make beats. Like I grew up, my dad was making beats on a chord keyboard, the same one Kanye had. And he would be recording his beats on these cassette tapes. We would ride in his Mustang and we ride around to his music. So I've always been into music early on. I had a MySpace music page. I used to rap.
Really?
Me and my brother and my friends, we used to rap, bro. We had a MySpace page. Like we used to put up flyers in high school. I've been making beats since I was in middle school, bro.
What was your rap name? Did you still just go by Mike Nash?
I was Mike Nash. I wasn't even Mike Nasty at that point. I was just
Mike Nash.
Yeah. Like,
nice.
My MySpace was MySpace / Mike Nash Productions 901, something like that.
Wow.
So, I've been doing music for a long time, so
that's crazy.
I didn't start DJing until I was like 17, like end of senior year of high school. But I found out later that my dad DJ'd in college. So it's like everything it's like in my blood. And then I found out like 2 years ago, my grandmother was like, "Oh yeah, your grandfather was DJing back in the day in Chicago. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, so I'm third generation. Like,
Yeah,
y'all didn't tell me this. They
DJ.
never told me this till after I was DJing for years, bro.
Wow.
So it really shows that like something is just in your genetics that you're born to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?